recorded live in front of the studio audience in Studio B in the Media Center. This is a special presentation of BTV, an interview with Chief Essig of the New York Police Department.
Hello, PSN1Q. You're watching a special presentation of BTV, PSN1's #1 morning news program. Today, we're sitting down with Chief James Essig from the New York Police Department to discuss traffic safety with kids. Chief Essig is part of the Detective Bureau and is responsible for the prevention, detection, and investigation of crime. Detective work is highly specialized work, but today Chief Essig is also here to talk to us about traffic safety for kids. Please welcome Chief Essig to the program. It's so nice to meet you, and welcome to PSN1. My first question is an obvious one. What made you decide that you wanted to be part of the NYPD, and how long have you worked for the New York City Police Department?
Well, thank you first for having me, Catherine, and thank you, PS101. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been a New York City police officer for 40 years, so pretty long time. I came on when I was 20 years old, and now I'm 60, so 40 years. Becoming a police officer is kind of a calling. You want to do the right thing. You want to help people. You want to make life in the city better. So that's why I came on as a police officer about 40 years ago today.
What do you think is the hardest part of your job?
Well, sometimes we're dealing with people in distress, but probably one of the hardest part of our jobs is police work is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's long hours. It's being away from your family. The 4th of July is coming up. We have to work. Thanksgiving, holidays, Christmas, police officers work. We work day tours, 4 to 12 midnights. So it's a demanding job, and it's long hours, and it sometimes takes you away from your family and friends that other people can enjoy where police officers are out protecting the city.
Being a detective must be a hard job, and challenging, possibly frustrating at times. But what about your job is your favorite part that you love the most?
My favorite part of the job is probably being able to help people. Again, if somebody gets into a car accident and you can help them, or if somebody's injured and you help them, or they have a lost relative and you find that lost relative, or somebody's in distress if they're a victim of a crime and you can take the bad guy off the street and make the city safer. It's very rewarding as a police officer to do that, to see that you can help people out. It's a nice part of the job, probably the best part of the job.
We like for kids to be safe walking to places, and even had a traffic safety-ish segment on BTV. What are some tips that you can suggest to kids for them to be safe when walking to and from school?
Safety is important, especially when you walk into school. I would say first is you have to be aware of your surroundings. Always be on the lookout. You could be walking on the sidewalk and there's a bicycle, a scooter, and particularly cars. When you cross at the corners, at the crosswalks, you have to look both ways and be very aware of your surroundings. And then for personal safety, know who's around you. If a stranger comes up to you and asks you to go with them, everybody knows not to do that. And one tip I could give with personal safety with strangers, if a car comes up and asks you a question, you run to safety, but always run in the opposite direction of the car. So if the car's facing this way and you don't like what that stranger's saying, you run the opposite way.
What would you say to kids if you saw them running around with the ball near the street?
Well, I would suggest that they go play in a park, backyard, but if that's not possible and you're playing ball in the street, again, safety, always think safety. Chances are that ball, one time or another, is going to go into the street. Don't run into the street. Stop, look in both directions, make sure there's no cars, make sure it's safe to retrieve that ball. Yeah, because a lot of times we get caught up in the game and we just run right into the street and we get hit by a car, a bicycle, or a scooter or a motorcycle. So very important. Stop, think what you're doing before you go into that street.
There are so many rules to obey to ensure traffic safety for kids. What's the best way to cross the street, even when you're walking with an adult?
So this is very important. When we're walking, never cross in between. We always cross at the crosswalks where there's a stop sign and there's a light. So we stop, we always wait. The car can make a mistake, the bicycle, somebody can make a mistake. So we stop, we look both ways before we go across the street, even when we're with an adult. So never in between, always at the crosswalks.
We're just about a time, but we have time for one more question. So why would you say it's important to never go between parked cars to cross the street?
Well, when you walk out between parked cars, the car driving down that street, they can't see you. So when you poke out, it's very dangerous. So just think when you're driving in a car with your mom, your dad, your friends, and they're driving down the street, you can't see between those cars. So if somebody pokes out real quick, we could get hurt. So that's why it's so important to cross at those crosswalks.
This was great, and we thank you for joining us today.
Okay.
It was very informative, and I'm sure your insight will have a lasting impact on our students.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Can I just take 2 seconds? I have a very special coin we like to give you in the police department. It's called the challenge coin, and it's very collectible in the police department. And this is from the Detective Bureau. And we'd just like to present you with this. It's very nice. And thank you for having me. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd like to thank Chief Essig for joining us today for this special presentation of BTV. So for Chief Essig, I'm Catherine. As always, have a beautiful day, and thanks for spending part of your day with us. Bye, everyone.
There you go. Thank you.